This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes, and as the producer and host of this program, I am honored as a certified naturopathic practitioner and certified holistic health coach to have a resource that doesn't take your power away, but gives it back. Makes you a more empowered, informed individual, because, our bodies aren't made in a way that they're supposed to fall apart when they're supported correctly. We're going to learn some more about that today. So if you were invited to this program by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them. They cared enough about you. Take the time to say thank you. And they are going to be your number one point of contact when you have questions in regards to things that you can do to help yourself. So make sure you remember who shared this program with you. And as you're listening, if you can think of somebody that could benefit from the information on our program, please share. But most importantly, make sure that you subscribe to our channels, as we are all across the World Wide Web and social media. We are here and investing our money and health and time so that you can have a better health journey. So again, my name is Becca Dukes, and I am excited as today we are going to be diving into something that so many people struggle with, many times silently. Whether it's chronic health issues, exhaustion, confusion, that feeling of why is nothing working, and so much more. So our guest today, he didn't just study this, he lived it. And for 30 years, Brian Krater battled depression, fatigue, brain fog, chronic pain, and addiction, searching for answers the conventional system could not provide. But instead of giving up, he leaned in, he questioned everything, which I absolutely love. And through decades of research, trial, and error, he uncovered what truly creates health and what actually restores it. So today he is fully recovered without relying on pharmaceutical medications, and is now helping others break free as well from some of the same cycles. He is a certified holistic health coach who specializes in understanding cravings, addiction, and why willpower alone is not the answer. So if you felt stuck, or if you've tried everything and still don't have the answers, this show is for you. You are in the right place. So please help me welcome to the screen Brian Krater. Brian, hello, welcome. I'm so excited to have you on with us. As as I get to know you and hear little bits of your story and read it, you've gone through quite a bit that, looking at you, you'd never guess.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. pretty
Well,
exciting.
well, absolutely. I'm glad that you agreed because I know you're stepping out of your comfort zone.
Mm.
And that's okay. That gives us the ability to be able to help and reach more and more people. So, my first question to you, I would like you to take us back, thinking of when your health was at its worst. What was it like?
Oh, probably the lowest was probably when I would get into this routine of buying Twinkies and Ding Dongs and eating the entire box in a night, along with, cigars and chewing tobacco and whiskey, and yeah, that was an evening for me. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And okay, so some people think, well, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
What for you eating that way, having that lifestyle, how did you physically feel?
Well, one thing, at the time I would have severe energy swings. That was probably, who knows, the blood sugar was probably totally out of control. Um, but yeah, my energy would go up and down. And of course, there was, depression and all that with it. And I did that for quite a few years, actually. And well,
So,
yeah, before I came on here, I had to think about what what I was really doing, and I did get into pills quite a bit, not heavy, but off and on over maybe 10-year period. And yeah, it's amazing how your brain can kind of normalize that. That's not a big deal, I don't
mhm.
really have a problem. But those were really making me sick, so yeah, that was not fun. So.
Now, we had mentioned depression. Did the depression lead to these habits, or did these habits open up the depression?
Probably more, maybe, I don't know, symbiotic, maybe one affected the other. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was, hooked on fast food too. I went through a few years where I ate fast food every single night. It was like a routine, right? You go and get out of the house and get your fast food. That was really bad. I was pretty sick
And
from that.
oh, okay. So was that a matter of convenience, or you just didn't feel like cooking, or didn't have time?
Probably just a habit, like an addiction. I was addicted to that too. I think the flavors in that the artificial kind of flavors in that kind of food can. I think a lot of people are probably pretty heavily addicted to that lifestyle too.
Hmm. So did you figure something that must be wrong, and you sought out doctors to see if they could help?
I really didn't. Well, that was, I'm gonna go back years ago, back to 1999. I broke up with my girlfriend, and the doctor said, "Oh, here's a sample of Paxil. That should help you out." I said, "Okay." Took that, and it made me feel terrible, like numb, made me numb,
Mhm.
kind of emotionally detached. It was weird. So I quit that within a few days. So and then that got me thinking about how these the standard MD system just doesn't know what to do a lot of the time. And yeah, I started digging in deeper with more research and reading books, and yeah.
So, so do you think that experience with the Paxil is what really opened you up mentally?
Yeah, it really made me think. Made me think. Yeah, I got me really curious, I think.
So going from numb, emotionally detached, and just kind of there, you're like, you acknowledge that that's not how you wanted to live.
Well, right away. Yeah, it was awful. It was just a bizarre feeling with that of course I knew that's what it was. That it's obviously this pink pill doing this. Like this is dumb. And it was only a few days when it
Mhm.
started to affect me like that. So I guess maybe it was
I
maybe probably how I was raised. You know, my grandma would she was somewhat of a health conscious person. So that
mhm.
probably that's all in my subconscious, my the way I was raised, I think. So I kind of
Well,
knew maybe, yeah.
thank goodness for grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She was born in Oklahoma, raised on the farm and raised her own garden and, she was a canning expert. And yeah, had kind of I lived with her a few years and she had quite an influence on me. She would juice, she had a juicer,
Mhm.
juice carrots. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are listening um, probably have felt like this, where you get into this rut of habit, good habits and bad habits. We're looking more towards the bad habits. We've got some type of situation that happens in our life that causes some depression that um, we seek out help, and that help is just not, we know inside that help is not quite what we needed. So you you questioned the system, and instead of just questioning it, you started reading books and getting more back to possibly what grandma was doing. And you had mentioned that, this is not quite right. Like you were a skeptic. Sorry for the skeptic. Um, so what were you most skeptical about?
Well, it seems like, I've been to the standard MD a few times. Um, and they always seem to have these odd questions like, "Oh, are you depressed?" And here's some Paxils medication, and they don't for me they don't seem to have a lot of answers. It's I don't know.
So they were basically trained to take a pharmaceutical, but not so much as to any in-depth information.
Well, that visit was bad. I mean, I told him I broke up with my girlfriend. I was sad, and he gave me um, it's a sample pack of Paxil. And I think that was probably something that was going. I don't know if they're still doing that now, but I guess I could just assume it's kind of a system to get you hooked on these medications. And
Mm-hmm.
it was one of those free samples at the time. That was
Mm-hmm.
probably going on pretty heavy in the late 90s. Um, and it
I
just to me,
remember going. I remember going to the doctor in the 90s and trying to figure out pain, and they would give me a sample of this, and thank goodness I didn't pay for the allergic reaction. But still,
Mhm.
those samples, I mean, for somebody that didn't have a negative reaction, they could be addictive, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You
So,
hate to go that direction. And I try to stay away from conspiracy theories much as I can, but kind of seems like sometimes it's a system that they have set up to kind of get you hooked in there.
mhm, for sure.
And I
So,
don't like to be controlled. So maybe that's where the skepticism was, the kind of I have a rebellious kind of a personality. So um, yeah, it just
so
didn't feel right.
there's skepticism, there's conspiracy, and there's misconception. Did you identify some misconceptions?
Well, I think, well, when after the Paxil situation, I found a book. I got really curious. I found a book called The Antidepressant Fact Book, which I highly recommend. So basically, I forgot the name of the doctor, but he was an expert witness,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that he has no connection to pharmaceutical companies, so he could tell the truth about the effects of pharmaceutical drugs. It's an incredible book. I recommend it. And I read it cover to cover. I just devoured it, and it tells the truth, and it's pretty bad. Um, that people need to be aware of.
So what are some things that really stuck out for you? I mean, you read the book cover to
In that
cover.
book. Well, that it's he one thing he said was that these antidepressants are basically a chemical lobotomy. He actually
Mm,
said that, and that's really scary. So it basically damages your brain, what these drugs
mm-hmm,
do.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that
So
was yeah.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, there's yeah, it's been a while since I read it. So it's very detailed, very deep, and it's very shocking what he knows or knew. He's probably deceased by now, but yeah, that was about I think came out right around year 2000. But that one
Okay.
really made me curious, really opened my eyes for sure.
So opening your eyes to how a system looks at the symptoms of depression, not the root cause, and then taking and basing, you give a pill, you look at the different physical things that are going on, not necessarily the chemical things that are damaging within the body. Do you think that the combination of some of the habits that you had, plus adding in the pharmaceutical may have, I know you were only on it for a couple more days, may have had kind of like a compounding effect?
Um, well, it's pretty amazing that even with all this curiosity and the knowledge that I was starting to acquire, I didn't quite believe it, I guess. Like I talked to a lot I think this is a common problem. A lot of people have this where they hear something and just don't it doesn't sink in, and they just kind of go back to
Mhm.
their old ways, and then I just go back to the doctor, and he'll fix you right up, right? Yeah.
Did you ever read the adverse side effects, the possible side effects, and think, oh, that'll never happen to me?
Well, I know that. Well, yeah, exactly. They're like the pain pills. They're very addictive. You got to be careful with those. And the Paxil, the doctor didn't even tell me anything about any side effects. And Paxil has some very severe side effects, and he told me nothing about it. I'm like, okay, doc, I'll take them because I think you trust the doctor to
Mm-hmm.
give you the good stuff, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've gone to school for 8 years. They've studied the body. They've got this diploma, and I know some amazing doctors. I'm not dissing doctors. One of my good friends is a retired oncology surgeon. I just absolutely adore her. And others that they have a good heart. They go into it all in to help people, not realizing that some of the things that they learn doesn't really help as much as maybe society thinks that they do. So you had talked about reading the book. After reading the book, what are some of maybe the dietary things, lifestyle things that you started using or making a change within your own life?
Well, I always I was supplementing with vitamins here and there. I started doing that I think in the 90s, but
Mm-hmm.
I would take them here and there, and that was the quality of the vitamins. I'd always question that. How do you know what is a good supplement, what isn't, and then I would switch brands and take this, take that, take more, take less, and then just give up. I think I gave up for a few years, and you know, but I think I was eating pretty bad diet. That probably had a lot to do with how I was feeling too. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now, you had mentioned supplements, not knowing if they work or not. Um, what what got you to look at the different supplements? Can you unpack that for us?
Um, Probably. Well, I mean, it's probably like, hey, I'm taking these, and I wasn't trying to feel a little better, but to feel worse, and it seemed to work, but not really, and yeah. So that went on for quite a few years, and so I've had these cravings for quite a long time, probably since I started using tobacco at age 13. So, and that
Mm.
kind of stuck with me until a couple years ago. Yeah.
So using tobacco like chew or cigarettes or
Yeah. Well, I used every form
every
available.
form. You didn't
Yeah.
play baseball, did you?
No, no, not really. No, it wasn't. Yeah, but I've always had these cravings and sugar, then the pills and then the nicotine. It's been there for that was 38 years I was hooked on nicotine.
Hmm.
That and of course the sugar came with it. Like I said, the Twinkies, the ding dongs. I mean, it's usually people have just a few ding dongs. I had to have one or two boxes.
Wow. So for you, because I know there's a lot of people that use smoking, keep their hands busy as an appetite suppressant. Didn't quite work that way for you.
Oh, no, it was cravings, food cravings, yeah, and nothing.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what stopped your cravings? Was it willpower?
Well, no, it wasn't. I actually I tried to quit quite a few times. 2015, I was able to quit for a year. And of course, I relapsed. That didn't last long. And I was actually taking plant-derived minerals at the time.
Mm.
So, but what's interesting is now I know that the minerals can help with cravings. But at that time I didn't know. I didn't know that in 2015. So yeah, so I had.
Well, what got you to look at taking plant-derived minerals? Because I mean, not very many people hear about plant-derived minerals. Why wouldn't I just take a vitamin or calcium or magnesium, which are minerals, but we're talking plant-derived minerals with 60 different minerals, trace, micro, macro. What got you to look at that?
So yeah, I mentioned my grandma was a bit of a health conscious. I don't want to say health nut. That's kind of, I don't like that term, but I guess she was, but she was raised that way on the farm. And of course, that I think that rubbed off on my dad. He was also health conscious, and back in the 90s, he came home from work and he had a cassette tape. Dad Doctors Don't Lie, and we listened to that and got really excited about what Dr. Wallach had to say. So yeah, we started taking Dr. Wallach's products, and then for some reason, it just quit doing that, got away from it. So I guess I'm going back and forth in the timeline here, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So you were a cassette tape kid.
yeah, that was when it first came out, maybe 96, I think. Yeah, 97, around that
Uh,
time.
yeah, between 94 and 96 is when they really started taking off.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
right.
That's awesome.
And
So,
I gotta add, I think why I quit taking the products was I had a local naturopath, and
mhm.
I actually gave him the supplements to look. Hey, I asked him, are these okay to take? And he actually said, no, don't take those. Those are not good. Take mine, the way I sell in my office here. And so I did that. I took his for a while and then quit. And then that's what threw me off.
So here's a question for you. So you were taking plant-derived minerals, which we think are top line, top shelf. You went into another supplement line. Did you feel a difference when you started and then when you stopped?
When I switched over to the doctor naturopaths supplements?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think so. I didn't notice any, I guess I didn't notice any difference and I just quit. You know, and then yeah, kind of went from there. So that from that doctor, he really distracted me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he was pretty good, but he didn't know everything he should have known, I think, at the time.
Well, and now you've chosen a career of educating them, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, he was really good he did like ozone therapy, he did vitamin C drips, things like that. So he did a lot of interesting useful things, but he got some details wrong that threw me off. And
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting about this whole thing is that you have to have everything in order. Like if you're taking what I learned, if you're taking supplements and you're not absorbing them, you're just wasting your money. That's a big deal. Of course, Dr. Wallach says or absorption is as important as intake. So right now, there's so many people, millions of people taking these, supplements, and they're not absorbing any of it, just wasting their money. So, yeah.
I know in my research, as I was looking at the different supplements, because I took supplements for decades and never felt a bit of difference. And then when I got digging into it, it's like, oh, well, this study shows that in this popular brand, I might be getting 6% of what they say is on the label. And then the label is nothing compared to what we're looking at for the Tangy Tangerine. So I think absorption, the quality of the product, the form that it's in, really has or makes a big difference. Because like you, I mean, you can't really identify a huge difference between taking them and not taking them. And I'm like, I don't feel any different. Why am I wasting my money on something? Until I found Dr. Wallach. And then that was night and day difference. Because I was absorbing. It was something my body could absorb. So
That
Keely
reminds
has
me,
a
yeah,
question.
that reminds me,
Huh?
I gotta mention that the 89% of sports supplements tested did not accurately label their ingredients. I wanted to
Oh,
talk about that one, which is really interesting. So this is a Forbes article, came out in 2023, and anybody can find this. Just look up Forbes. So yeah, they found 89% were not accurate, not accurately labeled. And then
hmm.
as I was finding this article, looking this up, I found another one saying, 50% of the supplements on Amazon. Sorry, Amazon, but this is not my article. Someone else did this. And they bought these supplements and took them and put them on the machines.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they found that the labels, what's on the label doesn't quite match what's in the bottle. So, I like Amazon, and Amazon's great, but I think it's kind of looking to me like it's not just them that has an issue. I think it's all over the place. It's probably nationwide and everywhere that it's a problem.
Right. And they're just a distributor for different brands
Hmm.
that, are retail on the market. So it's not so much about Amazon, although so many people are going to Amazon because of convenience. the
Mhm.
speed of delivery. You know, sometimes you can get a better price. But when it comes, like you said, you know, that article, what was on the label wasn't in, which is one reason why I absolutely love longevity, is because there's third-party testing to make sure that what it says on the label is actually what is in the canister or the bottle. So, Keely has a question, and you had mentioned about taking vitamins. But were you familiar with the whole fractionated type supplementation, cofactors, any of that dynamic when it comes to taking vitamins?
No, no, not really. I mean, of course, everybody hears, oh, the, 90 essential nutrients, but no, I didn't quite understand the that concept. I mean, I would take a multivitamin on occasion,
Mm-hmm.
and no, I didn't really have a full grasp of that until went through the certification course, and then of course, yeah, figured that out.
So speaking of the certification course, that's the Institute of Holistic Health Certified Holistic Health Coach course. Is that correct?
Right.
And did you learn anything?
Yes, I did. I mean, I already knew quite a bit already, but yeah, the course kind of filled in the gaps for sure. And then
And were
also
there a lot of gaps or just a few?
quite a few. Yeah. Um, it kind of tied everything together, and also just talking to other coaches, I've been learning more and more and more. And I think the more I learn, the more fascinated I get, the more interested I get in human health and how it interacts with nature and food and culture and various things. Because a lot of the food that's a big problem is I don't know what you call it, cultural food, things
Mm-hmm.
we all consider normal and acceptable to eat at the dinner table. Some of those are not necessarily healthy and are actually making us very sick. So that's a hard thing to get to, the peer pressure at the dinner table, serving the acceptable foods. I guess that's a whole nother show, I think.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show. So,
Mhm.
but let's take a look. Okay, you've taken the course, and you're taking the course looking back. Can you identify maybe um, things that your body was telling you that led you to start taking vitamins, thinking, oh, there's a deficiency in this, or give you more of an insight as to what was going on with your food choices, your cravings, the addictions that you had? Can you see how they could have been deficiencies?
Yeah, I think one of the big motivators, I was still using nicotine. I was vaping. I switched to vaping the last 6, 7 years. And when I got certified, I thought, I can't be a smoking health coach. That doesn't make sense. And also, it kind of motivated me to start taking the full protocol. I've never taken the full 90 at the right doses, so I decided, I got to give this a try, and I did. So yeah, it's powerful stuff. I mean, I had to kind of cut back a little bit for a couple of weeks until I got used to it. Yeah, the longevity products are definitely at a higher level. There's no doubt.
So you felt a difference.
100%. Oh yeah, yeah. It actually, well, yeah, it was pretty dramatic. Yeah.
So let's talk about that dramatic. When you say dramatic, what are some of the things that were going on that helped you know that you were actually putting something in your body that was helping or good for you?
Oh, gee. Well, oh, that's a good question. One thing I noticed was when I was walking in the mailbox and noticed, man, my legs feel so much lighter. Like
Mm,
they weren't nearly as heavy. That was strange. I didn't really expect that, but so yeah, definitely the energy improvement, I think.
okay.
Yeah, for sure.
What else?
Well, I got to a point where I'm vaping and doing the full protocol, right? Vaping, it kind of got to a point where I wasn't sure if I was getting too much nicotine or not enough. And now that I look back, it's kind of interesting. Wallach says to get addicted to nutrition. And that's kind of what was happening. So the nutrition was replacing somehow or pushing out the nicotine cravings or just cravings in general, all of them pretty
Hmm.
much. And so it got confusing there for a while. I was like, well, do I need because everybody who's doing their dope or smoking or drinking, you're regulating it. You can tell if you're getting too high, too low. Um, And it was weird when I was doing the nutrition. I was not sure if it was too high, too low. I couldn't tell what was going on. It was very confusing. I thought that was pretty interesting. And eventually, I just kept. I mean, I was taking pretty high doses of this. I was doing, like I said, the full protocol, and yeah, eventually
So,
it kind of pushed the cravings out. Yeah, it was really amazing, very impressive.
so they interrupted your habit, your everyday. They interrupted, and it's like, okay, do I want this? Do I need this? Type thing.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So where are you now?
Well, yeah, I eat a lot better. So I've cut out, the bad foods, which was very tough. I did the full protocol and I cut out gluten, which is a really tough one because you get into habits. Everybody's hooked on bread, and gluten. It's a tough one, and I understand why a lot of doctors don't want to tell people that because it's not what they want to hear.
Hmm.
And it's pretty tough. It's kind of a shocking adjustment. I was like, okay, what am I supposed to eat? How do I cook? But then it was no problem. I figured out, oh, there's so much gluten-free stuff out there now. It's so much easier. Then I figured out, oh, I just can get this bread and do that, get that cracker and eat it. It's just like Wallach says, you just have to make a slight adjustment. And he's right. It's not that big of a deal once you get used to it. Yeah.
So it's like just trading this for that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
reading
This
labels
is,
and
this is,
making sure that what you're trading for is not putting more bad stuff into your system.
mhm,
So
mhm.
you had mentioned something about your skin, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, it's very embarrassing. I think a lot of people deal with this because you can see it, the oily skin on the face. It was for some reason it was really extreme for me. Of course, it looks horrible. It's like shiny, and I tried doing research, getting online, and I saw somebody there's nothing you can do. You just have to wash your face, every whenever it happens. But it got so bad. This is pretty embarrassing, but it got so bad. Um, it was like a real concern, like when I would be invited to a party or to go out or hang out with friends. It's like, well, what am I going to do? I got to figure out where the sink is and how am I going to, because it's very embarrassing, the
Yeah.
oil. Maybe it's easier for a woman because you have the purse and you have the pads and whatever you can clean. But for a man, it's like, well, I don't want to carry a purse around with facial supplies. Anyway, yeah, so I don't have that issue anymore. It's perfectly normal. It doesn't do that. And now I'm learning more about it. Ben Fuchs talks about how your skin can become overactive. or maybe overstimulated somehow by maybe, what is it, sugar or things like that, or
Bottled oils.
nutrient deficiencies, things like that. And I think essential fatty acids have a lot to do with the oil production. I'm not sure. Maybe it calms the skin down somehow. I don't know. It's very very interesting though. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it is nice to be able to look back. It's like where you were, where you are now, because I don't see any oily skin. And like
mm,
Olga says, it's kind of funny. You were a smoking health coach. Are you still smoking?
no, no, I'm not. Actually, what's interesting is I've had a couple people that I was close to pass away, and
Mm,
that's, a lot of stress from that. And even with that stress, I didn't even think about going back to the nicotine, which is incredible to me
yeah.
because I was addicted for so long, 38 years addicted. And yeah, so I'm able to, well, I regulate it with the nutrition, with obviously eating better, and I just don't crave it. Not even my sugar addictions have been, or cravings have been drastically reduced. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's why I keep doing it. I think that's why I keep buying the products.
So you're not, yeah, like going for the Twinkies and the ding dongs and then eating a whole box in one setting anymore?
No, no, not at all. Not at all. Once in a
Good,
while,
good.
I think those cravings are always kind of there a little bit, but it's 95% better, yeah, than it was. 100, absolutely.
And do you now realize or understand that those cravings were caused by a blood sugar issue?
Probably, very likely.
Yeah. So if you were starting with somebody right now who, again, some of the things that you experienced were the addictions to nicotine, all types, the alcohol, sugar. Have you had somebody or yourself from what, 30 years ago, sitting down with them right now, what would you say to them to help them understand how these habits are feeding each other and how they could break free?
Um, well, the problem is if they just don't know what to do. That's, I think, the main key. Like, if you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we're all trying to do here is Wallach's warriors, is get the word out, and because people just don't know, I think, what questions to ask. And oh, that reminds me, like, we live in this age of information overload, and people can,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're doing their own research, right? But they're totally confused. The things I see in social media, my social media feed is just, there's some crazy stuff. I think people are getting very confused, probably more confused now than they were, say, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big problem. And then of course, then the Facebook echo chamber groups, that's a big problem too. Like, and I tried going in there and saying a few things, but I immediately get kicked out because they don't want to hear different opinions. So the problem with that is they just form these echo chambers of misinformation, and that's a big problem too.
So those echo chambers of misinformation, could it also be people jumping in to have, group pity parties?
It's possible, yeah. I mean, I think these are deep philosophical, psychological questions, like what is going on in people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're looking for answers, but they're the wrong answers, and they're not being helped.
Or they're
But
not the answers that they're willing to do.
so again, I see that goes into I've talked to people. It's like, well, you got to quit the gluten, and they say, no way. no thanks, I'm out. And that's too bad, you know. I know it's tough. It's tough. It's a real lifestyle change, but I think it's when you're suffering like I was, I mean, being addicted to sugar and nicotine and pills and all that, and that's not fun. So
No. So, do you think that your addiction was more physical, emotional, or nutritional?
I think it's nutritional because I had, you know, the two closest people in my life die, and I didn't go back to the nicotine. So
Mhm.
I don't know what does that tell me? It tells me it's more like a physiological issue.
So that tells me that you nutrified yourself, you were emotionally more stable to not fall back into those physical habits. Maybe?
And so, well, and now since I'm more educated than ever before, since I heard that tape in the 90s, I just have a better understanding of how to kind of regulate my own physical health.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge advantage, knowing how to solve my own health issues instead of going, you know, running to the doctor like most people do. They get a cold and run to the doctor, and then he does the tests and gives you the pills, and yeah, which is expensive too, by the way, very expensive to do it
Right.
that way.
Like, a lot of people they spend a lot of money trying to figure out what's wrong with them, and the doctors can't give them any answers. And it's because it's nutritional. It's not something that a pill can, with chemical pill, pharmaceutical, can fix. So, so Brian, if somebody is overwhelmed with the symptoms like you were, where should they start?
Well, that's a good question. Well, if they were talking to me, I would know what to tell them. Do what I did.
Okay, I'm talking to you. Tell
Right.
me. Tell me.
Yeah, I would say, well, you got to quit the 12 bad foods, unfortunately, because a big one's the fried food. Everybody loves fried food. I love fried food. I love fish and chips. That was my favorite. Unfortunately, can't have them anymore. But it's so worth it. So worth it. So so we gotta convince people to do that it is worth giving up those delicious flavors that hurt us. Like Wallach says, we're slaves to our taste buds, and we have to use logic and research and knowledge and science to prevent ourselves from getting sick from these, again, culturally acceptable foods, which, you know, a lot of fried food,
Mm-hmm.
like we see that what they have a lot of fried food in the South, and it's a cultural thing, and it's taken, you know, 50 years off their lives. So that's not good. And I tell them, hey, you know, you got to get some good nutrition too, some quality supplements. That's really mandatory. And try to avoid hate to keep dinging Amazon, you know, but I think a lot of people are. I just talked to someone who the other day who said she's buying, you know, $300 worth of supplements on Amazon, and she's still chain smoking, and she's got many health issues, and so I'm thinking, well, if those supplements are working, you know, why are you chain smoking? And of course,
Mm-hmm.
they're buying them on Amazon, and it doesn't look real good as far as the what researchers are starting to find. You know, there's no legal conclusion yet. It's allegedly, you know, but it looks like it's more than one group finding this. I know it is convenient ordering on Amazon, but you got to get a quality brand here, and you have to absorb them too, right?
Right. So I think, yeah, you need quality, you need absorbability, you also need to know what exactly is it that I need, which is where a certified holistic health coach comes in and works with you, figures out what are the root causes of the symptoms that you're experiencing, and then works at it and modifies as needed. Is that what you, is that a good way to approach it?
I would concur. Yeah. That's how you do it. And yeah, because our bodies do change from day to day. You do have to adjust. And yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. Like we show people what to do, and then they won't need us after 6 months or so. They'll know exactly what to do, which is pretty awesome. I think the medical system that we have, it wants to kind of get us hooked into systems that kind of benefit the system instead of
Mm.
benefiting the patient. Yeah.
So, supporting the body has many benefits. What do you think was the biggest benefit for you health wise? I mean, you were able to get rid of the addictions, but health wise, what do you think was the biggest benefit that you yourself experienced with the supplementation and removing the bad foods? Which, folks, if you don't know what the bad foods are, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats. And Dr. Wallach has added in buckwheat because of the phagopyrene, which is a chemical that burns. It's toxic. It can burn, which you put it in your system. What's it going to do? It's going to burn all the way down and all the way through, creating a lot of the symptoms of like digestive issues. We're just going to go with that instead of medical terms. And no bottled oils. So, Brian, when I say bottled oils, what oils do you think of?
Well, that would include olive oil, unfortunately. And I've had a lot of arguments with people about this. They just there's a there's a internet doctor coming. He just came out with his own special olive oil, healthier than the others.
Mm.
You got to swig this olive oil, and a lot of people are doing this, and yeah, I mean, I thought it was healthy too, and it is really, some of these things are really hard to accept and understand. Well, why are so many people saying, whole grain bread is healthy? We've heard that for many, many decades. Eat your Wheaties. It's make it big and strong. Um, yeah.
So, one thing as a baker, when I'm making anything, it's always requiring baking or vegetable oils. That's bottled oil, folks. So you got the vegetable oils, the olive oils, coconut, peanut, corn, soybean, removing all that. So when somebody asks, well, why would I need to remove the oils? They're supposed to be healthy. They're coming from plants and vegetables. What's your response?
Oh, well, I would tell them, well, sure, it's healthy in the seeds, healthy in the plant, but once you expose it and it hits oxygen, then it starts deteriorating, just like when you slice open an apple, it starts turning brown within minutes. So,
Yep.
and bananas too. Everybody's experienced that. Um, yeah. And but these things are so difficult for people to understand because we've been taught these things are healthy and they're good to eat. Eat your
Mhm.
vegetable oil, and I think the word vegetable way throws people off. It's vegetables, it's healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's hard because it's everywhere. I was in the. I would encourage everybody to go to, if you're near a restaurant supply store. go in there, look around. And that's what you're eating in restaurants. And I love eating at restaurants, but man, they put a lot of bad stuff in there in that food, right?
Well,
I
and
mean,
the things that make
big
it taste good
bottles
are
of big
chemicals
bottles
too.
of like butter flavored oil, great for on the label it says great for frying, no refrigeration required. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's really hard
So
to
the
avoid it
no
100%.
Right. Well, it is good to avoid for sure, because not only you want to do no bottled oils because they oxidize, you don't want to fry the food in it because then you're overcooking the food, creating acrylamides, which goes right into no well done meats as far as red meats go. Of course, pork and which I limit pork considerably, but pork and chicken, you want to make sure it is cooked well. And you don't want to get a bunch of lunch meats and processed meats that have added nitrates and nitrites. No carbonated drinks because it disrupts the digestive system so that the body can't break down the food well, creating digestive issues. So if you're always belching and burping and always feel bloated and you're drinking that even ginger ale to help soothe your tummy, you're actually creating more of a problem when it comes to the digestive system. And you don't want to eat the skins of baked potatoes. So I wanted to make sure that, as Brian had mentioned, the good foods, the 12 good foods or 12 bad foods, that you had an idea of what those foods are. We do have some hands up, Brian. You ready for a couple questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, if any, like what I was saying about it's worth it avoiding these foods because one issue that we're all becoming aware of is the younger ages of people getting colon cancer. And if you go on
Mhm.
YouTube, you can see younger people are starting to post their stories of their battle with colon cancer, and it's horrible. It's really really horrible. It just, it's kids even in their 30s getting colon cancer, and it's no one has any idea what's going on here. Um, but I think we know what's going on, and so that's why I'm saying it's really worth. You don't have to go crazy with like I'll go to restaurants, I'll try really hard not to avoid the seed oils that they call them now, but
Mhm.
I think it's worth making an effort to yeah, to kind of watch out for these foods and avoid them, but best you can, because it's very real the diseases that are happening to younger and younger
Yeah.
people. It's real, so I guess most people don't worry about it until it happens to them, and then it just turns your life upside down. So, let's try to avoid that if we can.
Absolutely. Uh, I just real quick, you had mentioned social media, and one of the things that you've done on social media is taken some common foods and then shown a video of how many tablespoons of sugar are in each of these different products. So, folks, look up Brian Krater on Facebook, or I think you're on Instagram as well. And check out
Yes.
those videos, like them, share them, get kind of like a visual as to, oh my word, I can't believe I'm taking in that much sugar. So let's go ahead and go to some questions, Brian. And Phyllis, go ahead and unmute yourself. Come on in. What question do you have for Brian today?
Hello, Brian.
Um,
I want to say first, amen to what you're saying about restaurants. And I find that almost always I'm better off eating my own food that I prepare and fix myself, even going out to the good restaurants. I don't know what it is. I eat more than I would, or it just seems to automatically not be as good for me. So I appreciate your comments there. And I do want to thank you for bringing this topic to us. I think it's a fascinating topic and we need to get into it more because it's pervasive. But here's the question that Becca had asked you, and then you all got distracted from it, but she asked what was the biggest health benefit, or one of the biggest, that you noticed when you changed how you ate and started getting the 90 nutrients. What really stands out?
Well, being able to control cravings. Yeah, because my sugar cravings were very strong too, along with nicotine. It seemed like the two strongest ones were nicotine and sugar. Yeah,
Well, well, go ahead, please.
those are the strong ones. Also, that what really stands out is my energy used to be really high and low. Like I wouldn't know what from hour to hour, which part of the day I'd have enough energy to move. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes I would just totally, I forgot to add this, I would just totally crash and have to lay in bed about 3 days to recover. It took several days. That was when I was eating all the fast food every day. Yeah, it was really hard on me.
Well, and you're talking about recovering basic functioning and living, which energy alone is such an important aspect of everything we do. If you don't feel like doing something, forget about it.
Yeah, so that's a big one too, is more steady energy levels, which is really nice from morning until bed. So yeah, that's a really big one, I think.
Thank you, Brian. I will drop off so Keely can get on here.
Okay.
Yes. Keely, if you'd like to turn your camera on, what question do you have for Brian?
Good afternoon. Hey, Brian. Nice to see you again today. Thank you for being on the show. I'm sitting in my kitchen. Sorry.
That's okay.
The question, I have a couple questions really that I'd like to give you. What would you define? I listened to the whole thing. What was your breaking point?
Wow. Um,
What brought you to your knees? What did you get sick and tired enough of that it made you look outside of yourself to search for something?
well, of course, I always had that knowledge, the Dr. Wallach knowledge from the 90s, always in the back of my head the whole time. And
So
yeah,
your
probably
breaking
well,
point would be,
and then I thought, I got to quit this smoking. As years ago, I'd say by 50, I gotta quit the smoking. That's obviously going to kill me, you know.
okay, so the threat of your life, they say that when somebody is smoking, basically, you're picking it's an oral asphyxiation. Then what happens is, why were you snuffing out your life? Because something was calling you back to life. And you made a statement earlier. The reason that I asked that question is you made a statement earlier. You said, well, it's like that paradigm. How do you get somebody to basically make that mental shift because it's so hard? I just want to point out that that's how you made yours. That's one of the things that I heard you say that really didn't come across clearly. And then the question is, so what was your first win after you made that mental shift?
Oh, first win. Well, I don't know. What do you mean exactly?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you had a blood sugar issue that you really didn't know that you had. You knew that you were craving sugar, but also, like Doc talked about Becca, or whatever. You're like the horse that is, eating the wood in the barn, or whatever. That's sort of what you were doing with the smoking as well. But there was something in you that you were paying attention to that guided you along a process to get here. I think that's part of your testimony and your story of what you have to give, which really brings me back to the fact is, are you aware, or how would you share the protocol that you're presently on that got you through that entire journey? Because it's that protocol that if I came to you today with blood sugar issues, I'm smoking, I can't control my sugar, what is that protocol that you have benefited from that has helped you regain your life back? And would you be willing to share it?
Oh, the protocol itself? Well, it's just you got to take all 90 essential nutrients and stop eating the food that's destroying the gut, pretty much.
So are you taking the digestion pack, the sugar pack, the heart pack, the healthy start pack? What are you taking specifically?
Oh,
Are you taking extra minerals?
no,
Because one of the things
oddly enough, yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Well, for the nicotine cessation at the beginning, I was taking maybe 6 ounces a day of minerals. Yeah, it was a very heavy dose. I actually got up to 12 ounces per day,
okay,
just to
and
really,
that got you through the
really
sensation.
like Wallach says, you're gonna saturate the body with it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty intense.
And did you take that with the Healthy Body Start Pack, or the Pig Pack? Was there a particular
Um,
pack that you had picked that you would? And again, I'm coming to you, with the same issues that you have. What did you do that I could actually evaluate if I had the same challenges that you have overcome?
I don't think I was taking the packs, to be honest. I would just buy individually for some reason because I wanted the liquid osteo. It was just, yeah. So I didn't like the powder at the time or something, so I didn't buy the packs. But yeah, I
Understood.
was
So
I
what are
was
you taking now?
I was doing Tangy Tangerine and Osteo-fx powder and essential fatty acids and minerals. So I gotta take the minerals. I think that really helps with the cravings for sure. But now I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down to a couple ounces a day. Yeah.
So you're in the maintenance zone now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's I don't so I'm actually 2 years nicotine free April 28th this month. It's gonna be 2 years, yeah.
Oh,
And
Fantastic.
I
that's
don't
fabulous.
and I don't I'm not craving it at all, which is really nice. Because it was very expensive. I hated going to that vape shop, and spending $100. It's very expensive every few
Well,
weeks.
not to mention with vaping, you put those pinholes in your lungs, and you can recover from that as well. But I appreciate the fact that you were vulnerable enough to share, your health challenges. You talked about, the struggle that you went through, and the end result really comes back to those minerals. I think it's fabulous when you look at what Doc has done, what his research and his comparative pathology actually have sent to us, because minerals make up about 2/3 of what we need to consume in order to recover, renew, and step back into our lives fully in wellness. But so congratulations on your journey, and thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, it's exciting to. Yeah, I keep thinking, it's so awesome. I want to just shout it from the mountaintops to anyone who's willing to listen.
Well, I'm glad that you agreed to come on with us and share your journey. And again, 90 essential nutrients beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Osteo-fx, the EFA Plus, that is the 90 foundation, adding in those plant-derived minerals. Now I have a question for you, Brian. Do you like the plain, the cherry mints, or the strawberry kiwi mints?
I take the plain because I just mix it in with tangerine. Yeah, with and the flavor amazing. It just disappears when you dilute it enough. Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you so much, Brian. I know Bruce put on here great questions. And when is Brian coming back? So I know this was stepping out of your comfort zone. Told you we're gonna pull you out. Gonna get you out there because you've got a great story. And unless you practice sharing it like on the big screen, then it's just gonna be your story. Let's let the world hear it. Like you said, shout it from the mountaintops. So thank you so much, everybody. I know we had a couple other questions. Oh, a comment. Olga says longevity products are highly addictive and seriously good for your health, folks. So if you're looking for something to be addicted to, you're in the right place too. That's not going to make your legs feel heavy, like Brian had mentioned earlier. And just add to your wellness so that you can do what you absolutely love to do instead of, feeling sluggish or not knowing when you're going to have those highs and lows in your energy. So if I could get the co-hosts up on the screen with me, that would be absolutely fantastic. So thankful that I don't have to do this by myself. Brian, thank you again for coming on, being vulnerable, and just sharing your story with us. And that's what is going to help so many people, because I did have to coerce you into this a little bit, but in doing that, you're going to be helping a lot of people. So thank you so much, Brian, for that.
Yeah, and I just want to add, like, what really I think drives me is what Dr. Wallach has done is just expose the truth. I mean, it's just uncensored, raw truth is what he's done.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. And we love Dr. Wallach. So glad that he is still here with us on Earth, even if we can't have him on camera with us. We have to share him with his family. I just got a text message from the producer of the George Norrie Coast to Coast shows, wanting to know how Doc is doing. So Tom, and the reports that I get is he is enjoying retirement and spending time with his family. So we can't be absorbing all of his time. So we just give our love out to Dr. Wallach and everyone who has experienced the 90 essential nutrients. We want to hear from you. So if you're out watching on any of the different platforms, there's a way that you can comment. Please let us know. I take the 90. Comment, let us know. Or if you don't and you want to, get back with the person that shared this program with you, or put in a comment, I want the 90. Or you can also call us, as I do have a call team standing by waiting for your calls for those who were not referred to this show by anybody else. And for those who did not hear about longevity or Dr. Wallach from somebody else, because if you did, get back with them. 855-949-3377. Again, 855-949-3377. If you prefer to email, you can email questions at dailywithdoc.com. Again, that's questions with an S at dailywithdoc.com. You can also find on dailywithdoc.com, as this program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, the good foods, bad foods list. So you want to know what foods you should be eating, focus on those good foods, and just don't even put the bad foods in your cart. It makes it so much easier. You get the nutrition in, you start losing the cravings for it because your body's no longer starving. Because folks, when we eat, the body's just looking for nutrition. So when you give the body the nutrition, you no longer need all the calories that you're taking in. So thank you to my co-hosts. I have on the screen with me now, Sherry, part of our tech crew. Thank you so much, Sherry, for all that you do and helping to get things started and making sure that we have volume. Sometimes we tend to not, but thank you so much for keeping an eye on that. We also have Ruth Ellen, who is my executive production manager, making sure that everything is rolling smoothly and pushing everything out to the different platforms here live on Daily with Doc and Becca. We have Marilyn. Things are bouncing around. Marilyn, who is Speedy Fingers, doing some great dictation in the chat that's only available here live with us. We also have Albert letting people in, as he is our doorkeeper, our gatekeeper, joining us from South Africa. And last but not least, one of the pioneers in getting Dr. Wallach on the air, Ms. Phyllis, as she and her husband Andy were very instrumental in getting Dr. Wallach on the air, along with one of my friends, Michael Zerling, lovingly known as MZ. So folks, if you want to be part of something bigger than yourself and help spread the message and give hope and empowerment, get back with the person that shared this program with you and say, hey, I want to be part of the family. I want to be part of the solution. That solution being giving information, providing knowledge that helps people choose and find and create and claim a better health journey. So let's make it a better by the minute health life. Until next time, my name is Becca Dukes. Thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc. And for those of you who are hanging out with us in overtime, you rock. Bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor.